Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's training session. This is Lance Tomashiro, and I'm super excited to be back here with you guys. Today, we have an awesome training lined up for you. Robert's going to show you guys some amazing stuff that you can do. And, I've been gone for a while, a couple of weeks here from my business. And one of the things that I've really got to sit back and think about while I was gone is how awesome it is to be able to have something that runs by itself, to have something that's going whether you're around or not. And one of the things that a lot of people come online for is exactly that promise, to have something that will be there when they're not there, or to have something that runs when you're not around. Now here's the kicker, and at least this was what happened for me, is I got online, I saw all this stuff, and the one holdup for me was the technology piece, was getting a site set up, was actually getting something that worked the way that I wanted it. And once I did figure out how to get something to work the way that I wanted it to work, well, then I found out that I needed not one site, but I needed multiple sites in order to get things to happen again. And so this doesn't matter whether you're a product creator, whether you're an affiliate marketer, whether you sell sites to offline businesses, you have this exact same problem. And the key is that you shouldn't have to sit and think about things like the technology piece of it. You should be worried about the marketing piece of it. You should be worried about getting your message out there. And that's what Robert's going to show you today, is how to get rid of all of this technology problems so that you can focus on the fun stuff, the important stuff, the stuff that actually brings you in revenue. So hope you're all here. I'm so glad. Thank you for all of the messages in here. I'm glad to be back too. I'm excited to be back with all of you guys. When you're ready, if you guys can hear us, put in the question box unlimited, so that we know you can hear us, so that we know you want to make unlimited money, that you want to put up unlimited sites, so that you're all here with us. And we'll bring Robert out here right now to show you guys how you can set up an unlimited number of sites in just a single click, so that you can start making money today. Robert, thank you very much for putting this together. I can't wait to see today's training.
Awesome. Thanks for having me as your special guest, Lance. So we're talking today about money-making sites, and Lance mentioned a lot of really cool things, which is, well, first of all, we see people get hung up about getting their site installed online, set up, making money, and along the way, everyone gets caught in this thing that we call the chicken and the egg problem, which is where someone says, well, I can't set up a website because I know it's not going to make money, and so I'm not even going to bother with the website, but I still want to make money, but I have to have a website. And they just get caught up on these things like, what should my brand be? What should the name of my website be? Which theme should I have? What plugin should I use? Should I change this, add this plugin, add this little tweak, and this little social media button? And it takes quite a lot of time. And then they spend all this time making this one beautiful looking site. Then maybe they'll put up a product for sale. Maybe this will be a membership site. Maybe this would be some kind of content site where you put in articles, you put in videos. Maybe you have others contribute content to your site, and you get people, links back and money back from that. They spend all this time making this one beautiful site, and the attitude that Lance and I have is, well, if this one site's making quite a bit of money, then why wouldn't you make like 10 different sites like that? So let's say you had set up a site, and let's just say like for the first month you're saying, I don't know, let's just make it simple, say $500. Not a ton of money, but a good amount, a good decent level for a website, right? So you have one website, and maybe you have some kind of website on, I don't know, like say like digital cameras, right? And maybe you'll grab some articles over from Easy articles, some videos from YouTube, put some Amazon links on there, put some ClickBank links on there, have this whole site that kind of runs on its own, $500 a month. And then you go and make another site, $500 a month, on say video cameras. And now, if you're going to be changing the niche, the name of the blog, but it's still kind of the same idea, are you really going to be changing very much? Are you going to be getting a whole new theme, whole different colors? Probably not. If you found something that makes sense, why not just repeat it over and over and over and over again? Likewise, with the business that Lance and I run, if we have a membership site and we can get that even to just something low like $5,000 a month, get a certain number of monthly paying members in there, and we teach a membership site about webinars, and then we want to go and make another website, well, I'll do that all along. I'll keep duplicating the sites, but once you have something that's completely working and completely making you money, well then it's not time to stop, it's time to keep going, and it's time to go ahead and make another site like that, another site like that, another site like that. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is setting up not just one site, but an unlimited number of one-click money-making sites in seconds. Whether your money-making site is a blog that's available to the public that has affiliate links, links to your products, whether this is a membership site running on WordPress where someone has to pay you one time or pay monthly in order to get access to some kind of videos or training they paid for. Doesn't matter what kind of site it is, but we want to make as many of those sites as possible. And also, if we have a new idea, put it into action right away and not have to spend months figuring it all out or months duplicating things. Just go ahead and duplicate it once again, because there really isn't that much time at all to set up your sites. And I have a quick question for you, is what if I said that 5 years from right now today, you'll be exactly where you are right now. If I said you would have the same income, the same websites, the same bank account, the same house, the same car, same clothes, same day-to-day routine, you travel to the same places, well, that doesn't sound very exciting, right? And so that doesn't really sound like something you'd want. Not that right now is bad, but if I said that 5 years from today would be exactly the same, that's no fun. We want to be much better in 5 years than we are right now. So you have admitted that you do want to change, that you do want things to get better, and if things are bad right now, there's nowhere to go but up. But if things are great, then they can always get better, and there's no reason to hold yourself back. There's no reason to say, well, you know, I'll get to setting up that one website later. There's no reason to say that I'm going to, spend 2 months making a website. Just put it out there right now. You can always adjust and revise and improve it as you go along. And it's time to break that cycle of self-sabotage, which you're going to do today, because I'm going to be showing you a time-saving tool today called Backup Creator. If you already have Backup Creator, can you do me a favor and go in the question box and type in the word yes, Y-E-S. If you don't have a copy yet of Backup Creator, can you go in the question box and type in no. Either way, I want to hear from you. I'm not going to be sharing the answers. There's no wrong answer. It's just yes or no. Yes, I have this plugin called Backup Creator, or no, I do not yet have this plugin called Backup Creator. So I'm showing you a time-saving tool you can use right now today to duplicate your website easier. And even if you're not at the point yet where you want to duplicate a site, maybe you want to focus on just one site, maybe you have enough sites, well, at the very least, you can back up your site in case something happens to it. Because many times I've gone back to even a backup from a year or two ago just to get that one file, or just because I accidentally deleted that one thing. Or many people we know have had their entire website hacked, and I'm looking at a couple of names. Many people on the call have had their website hacked, and they wish they had just clicked on that one button, taken those 2 minutes to log in, click the button, and then just in case, you can get back to that old site. Now, if you accidentally mess something up, you can easily roll back to an older version of your site, or even crack open the file and just get that image you deleted, that blog post that you accidentally put in the trash, anything that you backed up, you can get back to your site right now, and then don't worry about it. Now it's set up, now it's running on automatic pilot, and you can get back to what makes money, being the visionary in your business, right? Being the creative person, figuring out what next cool site am I going to make? What's the next membership site or the next public blog that I'm going to make, and how am I going to make money, and how it's going to be maybe based on something that's been proven to make money, but in our own way is kind of unique and kind of in our own little corner of the internet. So this very powerful tool is called Backup Creator, and if you're the kind of person if you're at the point where you want to change web hosts, well, there's no worrying about remembering which plugins you set up and remembering to reconfigure your whole blog. Just back up your blog, go over to the new web host and restore it, and now you successfully moved over your blog. And what's also very important here is that you have your old site, right? But you don't really want to exactly move. You want to copy your blog to the new site and make sure that everything works just fine. And once everything looks good, then you can stop paying the bill on the old web host. But this way, we're doing this in a much safer way. If you find a web host that's maybe cheaper or has better features or is bigger or faster, or many of our customers, they start on what's called a shared web host, which means that they maybe share space on the same web server as a bunch of people, and they want to have a brand new sparkly fast dedicated server all to themselves. Now they can make them move with their blog or all of their blogs using this tool. as far as backups go, it's all automatic, so you don't have to worry about, let me, dump this database here. I don't even know how to find the database. Let me move these files. You just back it up, go somewhere else, and then restore your entire WordPress website in one click, and even manage WordPress websites for clients. Because if you have any kind of a skill and setting up WordPress and backing up WordPress and setting up a site in a specific way using WordPress, these are all skills that many, many, many people on the internet don't know or don't care to do themselves. Because even though these tools like WordPress and different plugins are very easy to use, if someone is brand new to the internet, brand new to internet marketing, brand new to WordPress, they're not going to know how to do anything. And so instead of them having to take a year or two to figure it all out through trial and error, they'd rather just pay you $500 to set up a website, $4,000 to set up a membership site, and it doesn't really matter what you get paid necessarily. It's how often can you get paid and how much time can you get paid doing it. Because as far as I'm concerned, $1,000 is $1,000. If you can go ahead and do something, and if it takes you 10 minutes, takes you an hour, depending on your income level, if it takes you a whole day, it's still $1,000. I mean, most of us have been at that point, maybe like during the younger years or the college years when, or even during childhood, when it took a heck of a long time, a heck of a lot of allowances or mowing lawns or working at the mall to get $1,000. But now, if you can just sit at home and click, 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 and then boom, now you got $1,000 from that little skill, not necessarily labor, but skill that others couldn't do but you could do, then $1,000 is very much worth it. So we use this tool called WordPress, and Lance and I call this the first platform that makes this thing called FTP obsolete. What does that mean? It means in the olden days, in the old west of the internet, if you wanted to set up a website, you'd have to open a scary looking program like this and figure out all this stuff and drag things over and create folders and right click and set permissions and all this scary stuff. But now it's all nice and pretty, right? It's all in little pages like this where like you can just go to the right menu and it's all done. You don't have to write numbers down. You don't have to figure out, should I left click or right click on stuff. It's all just about going into a specific menu. Okay, so you don't have to worry about FTP. You don't have to worry about if I want to change my site, I have to download a file, edit it, upload it back up. No, you just find the menu in WordPress, edit the post, and now it's done. So WordPress is the first platform that makes FTP obsolete. There are thousands of plugins and themes available. If you want to tie your blog in with Twitter, with social media, there's a plugin for that. If you want to add a pop-up to your blog, there's a plugin for that. If you want to start charging for paying members, there's a plugin for that. And hint, hint, if you want to back up your site, there's a plugin for that as well. So if you're setting up a membership site for someone and they have a very specific idea of how they want the back end to look, how they want the sign up process to look, they don't know and they don't care that you're using free or low cost tools to do it. They just care that it all works together correctly. They just care that it's done right. So they have no problem paying $3,000 for you to set up a way to take payments, a way to explain what's inside the offer, a way to add a plugin like BuddyPress or Mingle into the backend so that now the people who log into the members area now have a form. By the way, many people we know who set up membership sites charge in the hundreds of dollars to add a forum to a backend of a membership site. And there are many these things where I'm blown away as soon as you just go a little bit outside of your current circle and find these people who aren't in the low ball internet marketing crowd, who are real business owners who just want to get their site online. Now you've tapped into just basically a gold mine, a real untapped resource of people who are willing to pay the big bucks for work that isn't really work for you. And million-dollar businesses are built on WordPress. Businesses like this thing called WooCommerce. You can have a shopping cart, wishlist member. You can run membership sites. Theme Forest, where you can get different designs for your website. And Backup Creator, where you can back up and clone and restore and migrate your site. And you just use this tool called WordPress to create good-looking websites that do what you want and set those sites up very quickly. So WordPress is a platform for blogs, but we use them for local business sites, for membership sites, for e-commerce sites, for sales letters, just because it's so darn easy to add content. I go into WordPress, I say posts, add new, and then boom, I just type in what I want to type in, and it magically appears on my website, and no one else makes it as easy as this free tool, and no other free tool has so many useful themes and plugins, these add-ons, to make it better and make it do the things that you want, like host a membership site, run a shopping cart, or have a forum. Now, I have a question for you out there is what do these sites have in common? The sites like eBay, Yahoo, CNN, the New York Times, Sony, and Nokia. What do all these sites have in common? I'll give you a second to think about it. All right. So I'll give you the answer is that all these sites use WordPress. That's right. eBay uses WordPress. Yahoo, CNN, they all use WordPress to run their websites. And 16% of the top 1,000 sites and 22% of all new websites use this tool called WordPress, now running on over 72 million websites online. And one or several of those websites are yours, right? But let me ask you a quick question. What if you lost that website? What if your monthly income went away? What if your websites were nowhere to be found, but you still had to pay those bills and you had 30 days to get it all back? Well, hopefully you had your site backed up, but if not, well, you need to make money quickly. So are you going to spend a year on a monthly membership site? Are you going to be agonizing over a perfect book and spell checking it 10 times a day for 6 months and editing and revising? Or are you going to find something that someone needs and get paid for it? So in this basically nightmare scenario, if you are back at zero and have 30 days to get it all back, well, you can do one of two things, right? You can provide a service or you could provide a product. One of those two things. So a service could be like what we mentioned earlier is set up something, right? Set up a website for someone, set up a membership site, set up a blog, and you don't have to necessarily tell them it's a blog. Just say, I want to set you up a website with 5 pages of content. Here's what it will look like, and there you go. Set up a product, like maybe if you have some kind of knowledge to teach someone, have some kind of skill to teach someone, just put it into a WordPress membership site, and many times we'll make a product and it will sell pretty well, but not really as well as you want. Make another product, another product, another product, and maybe product number 4 is just huge and just that's the product that blew up. And it was probably toughest just to make the first one. But then to make the second one, we just cloned the site and used the same templates for launching it, for the product, for the graphics, clone the site again, clone the site again. So when I say things like, well, let's say if you had to make 4 products in 4 months, just make one product for this first 30 days, another product for next month, another product for next month. That sounds like a lot, but it's not 4 times the effort. It's not 4 times the work. It's you do it once, and then once you have a proven system, just duplicate it, duplicate it, duplicate it. And same deal with doing kind of a service. If you can find that one little niche, or if you have like a circle or a series of connections of people that you know need websites and have the money to spend, usually small businesses, and if you have a template that you can then begin reusing. One of our students just sets up like a template for Chinese food restaurants, and then just goes to these different Chinese food restaurants and says, well, you could go to someone else and they could make a generic looking website, but I already have a template for you for a Chinese restaurant. I'll just duplicate it, put your name on it, put in your menu, your address, done for you in 10 minutes, but maybe for them say it's done in a week. But they don't have to know that you spent 10 minutes on it. So there are many different cool ways of setting up websites very quickly with WordPress and then duplicating them, cloning them even faster using our tool called Backup Creator, which is used to back up, first of all, and secure your blog. So you can back up a site, restore it somewhere else, but let's just kind of start real small is backing up a site. Because I know that pretty much everyone on this call has at least some kind of a site. Maybe they're not all live. Maybe they're not all making money. Maybe they're making some money, but you want to make more money. But either way, you don't want to throw away those months or years of progress you've already put in. I mean, every now and then I'll come across someone at an event and they'll say something like, well, I've put in, $60,000 into, training and services and copywriting and creating the product. And you don't want to throw away that $60,000 just because of one accidental deletion or your credit card expired and then the web host wasn't able to rebill you and they deleted your account, or you got hacked. You don't want to throw away that $60,000 if you could have just clicked the button and avoided it all. So here's someone named Lewis who did avoid this. He backs up his sites And then when he installs a new site, just backs it up once it's on there, once he has the theme and the settings, and then he can restore it somewhere else and just have a template that he'll never ever lose. Rob uses it to back up his WordPress sites. Can't be more exciting than that, but I'm sure he gets super excited if the worst ever happened, if he thought that one video was gone forever, if someone hacked his site and he thought it was gone forever. I'm sure it would make his day to realize that, oh yeah, in that one little folder, I have a backup, everything's safe. Maybe it's not safe for today, but tomorrow, once it gets blown away, I can just put the old site back on there and we're back in business. Randy says he uses it to help him fall asleep at night, because when he knows that, once again, even if the worst happened, his site's backed up, and it means that he can sleep at night and he can hear all the stories about this happened, that happened, but everything's still good because he knows that he won't be one of those people. He won't be a statistic like everyone else. Graham says he backs up his sites each week, and now we actually have an automatic backup feature, so he doesn't even have to think about it. It just shoots him an email every week, and he can be sure that his site was backed up and everything worked out quite well. James uses it to back up and build new sites, sets up one site and configures it just the way he wants, and then backs it up, and that becomes his template, and it ends up saving him about 2 hours per new site. And this is kind of where this whole backup thing clicked for me personally, because backup plugins and things like that have been out for years, and at first I didn't get it. I was just thinking like, okay, back up my site, sure, I'll get around to that. But when people were using their backups on brand new websites, now I kind of understood it. I was thinking, okay, so they're setting it up in the exact way they want it, with their SEO, traffic, security plugins, all that goofiness, all those things where they, maybe read an article here, read an article there, tried 10 different themes, got it exactly the way they wanted, and then just duplicated it. And that's what we're going to be showing you right now today is, well, first of all, we have a couple of templates, and this one is what we just call the membership template. Okay, so this membership template has nothing on it, but it's set up in the way that we like, which means that if we go into the back end, we have our own little custom membership theme. We have this piece of software called Wishlist Member, and we set up the levels in a certain way. We have the settings all in a certain way. So what you're looking at right here is an empty site, but as far as all the WordPress settings, the additional plugins we put in here, the different tweaks to Wishlist Member, it's probably about 1 or 2 hours of work. And what's the point of repeating something over and over again if we can just get a machine to do it? That makes a lot more sense to me, right? So let me actually just kind of show you how I can just take this exact template and make a brand new membership site out of thin air in a couple of minutes. Does that sound good? I hope so. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this plugins area here, and we have all kinds of stuff, and I'm going to be adding a plugin called Backup Creator. So let me just upload that and choose the file. Here we go, Backup Creator. All right, we're going to install this now, and give me a second to FTP all this. So we've just added a plugin in WordPress. Hopefully that most of you have seen at least that part of it, where you have this thing called WordPress, plugins, add new, and you can add a plugin, right? Like we said, no more FTP, no more of this, I have to figure out what folder to put things in. No, you just go and get this one little, basically a zip file, click a button, and now we have this brand new Backup Creator functionality all ready to go. And what we can do is, just by default, it has this button here that says backup this site, right? So we click one button, say backup this site, and let's see how long that took. I think I can't tell. But in about, 2-3 seconds, we backed up our site. And now if you look at in our backups, now we can get this 20 megabyte file and have this to restore anywhere we want. Or if something happened to our site, I hope nothing does, but we could always get it back. We can click on that, download it to our hard drive, put it back later. But if we wanted to set this up somewhere else, we very easily could. And so what I mean by that is I can go over to a totally different site called Membership Newbie. And I'm just going to go here and I'm going to set up a brand new WordPress site. So I will just call this new one, and then I'll put in a password off screen. But all I'm doing here is I'm just setting up a brand new blank empty WordPress blog in a couple of seconds, and it's already up. In the time that I was talking right now, in about, I don't know, 10-20 seconds, we set up a brand new blank empty WordPress blog called Membership Newbie. We'll just keep this as is, but I would really like to be able to start taking payments on this in the next couple of minutes, right? So all we have to do is log in to this brand new blog that we have, and I have the password saved because I use same password for our new sites. And I'm going to add in this new plugin called Backup Creator. So there it is again. I'm going to activate the plugin and go to it. And let me just activate it and all that good stuff off screen. All right, so now we're back in business. And so what we want to do is, oops, and did I close my other window? No, I did not. So we want to take this blog, this file, this backup, this entire blog, and put it somewhere else. So it's a very, very long process. We right click, copy link, and then we go over here and we paste it in. And that's it. As soon as we click on that button, then let me show you what's going to happen. So right now, here's the before picture. We have a empty site with nothing on it, just the default theme, and it takes about 30 seconds for it to download the backup from the original site and then restore it. And here we go. Boom, now it's on here, and it looks like it took it's about 17 seconds to download, unpack, restore, and all that good stuff. And if we go to the restored blog, here we go. Notice how this is the membership newbie address. This is the new blog, but now we have an entire membership site set up, and I should be able to log in on this new site with the login I had before. Here we go. Now I'm logged in. We still don't have any content, but if I go into the backend area, I see that I still have wishlist member back here. I have my various themes over here. So we've completely copied an entire WordPress site from one place to another in just a couple of minutes, and most of that time was taken up by me explaining it, me talking to you. So, I mean, in just a few seconds, just a few clicks, you can have a brand new site online ready to take orders if that's what it's for, ready to get traffic and have content if that's what it's for. But many people are telling us that they're using this tool called Backup Creator because they want to just set up their site the way that they want it, and the way that they've maybe taken weeks or months or even years over the, just incrementally making things a little bit better. And now that they have something that works, why mess with it? Why not just use that as a starting point for your new site? So pretty cool. Backing up a site, restoring it somewhere else, but it's not just for you, because you can also use it for your clients. You can back up client sites. So Hugh uses it to back up personal and client sites. Louis, or maybe Louis if he's French, uses it to back up his sites and client sites, simple and secure. Andrew does as well. So you can easily set up some kind of a monthly kind of backup service where you say, well, for a certain amount of money per month, and once again, if you're doing this for savvy internet marketers, then maybe you only get 10, 20, 30 bucks a month to back up their site. But if you do this for other websites or other small businesses who don't really understand the internet, who don't really want to bother with all this internet and this WordPress stuff and this plugin stuff, well, then you can use this for your client sites. And even Rob Metras, who is one of our friends, who just posted in the question box, he used it yesterday, and a client paid him $600 to move a site. And by move a site, I mean he logged into one site, clicked on the backup button in Backup Creator, log into another site, hit the restore button, $600. That question just came in, or that whatever that comment just came in the GoToWebinar question box. So very easy money, and it's easy money for everyone involved, because these other companies, they go to other people, and some people charge them $5,000, $10,000 to move a site. So you're actually the cheaper one in comparison. But for you, it's hundreds of dollars for a couple of minutes of work. And yeah, at first you'll feel bad. How do I know? Because I used to install basically plugins and scripts for $50, $100 a piece. It took me about 5 minutes to do it. but it's not so much about what amount of time you put into it or how much work and labor it's for you. It's how much value, how much time can you save someone else. And for many of these people, for $600 to move a site, for that to save them 5 grand or 10 grand down the line, it's a very, very good business move for everyone involved. So speaking of good business moves, there are these things called automatic backups, and I want to show you this picture of, well, here's Lance over on the side, and here's this shirtless guy. And I mean, would you really want to mess with the shirtless guy? I mean, I know that I wouldn't, but he's actually a really sweet person, and he's real like kind and gentle and all that. But he could kick your butt if he wanted to. But he got into the business of backing up client sites. And not just that, but he went to these local businesses, I think in New Zealand or Australia, and set up some kind of a deal where they'd pay him a few $100 a month just to keep their site backed up. Because it's one thing for someone to hire you to make a site, right? To make a site would mean maybe set up a domain name like a .com, maybe set up WordPress, maybe put in some graphics, maybe add some content, and then you're done, right? And if you charge $1,000, if you charge $3,000 to set up a site like that, well, that's fine. But then what? Well, then next month you have to go and find another client to make a website, another client. But this guy was smart. He made what we call a backend, like a monthly recurring income. And that monthly recurring income was, well, first of all, to host it. But hosting on its own isn't really that sexy, right? I mean, it's like you do it because you have to. And justifying $250 a month for hosting is kind of tricky when they can go online and see that it really costs you $30 a month. Or even if they don't know that, they can go and do their research and say, well, maybe I might want to switch at some point if I want to, cut $200 a month. So hosting on its own isn't that sexy. But if you add in, well, I'll give you daily backups, weekly backups. Well, now what's it worth? Well, now it's kind of hard to say. I mean, is backing up a site every week worth $100 a month? Is it worth $1,000 a month? I have no idea, because now I'm buying you. I'm buying your package. I'm not buying a commodity. I'm not buying a gallon of milk, which I know is going to be, around, I don't know, $2, $5. But if a gallon of milk was $50, I'd say, whoa, no way. But in this case, if you can charge whatever price you want because that is what it's worth, that is what you're worth, that is what your package costs to activate. Okay, so what this guy would do is he would set up a site and then charge monthly for backups. Now, because he uses Backup Creator and because we provide automatic backups, well then this guy could just set it up once and receive an email every week when the site was backed up on its own. But once that email showed up in his inbox, his job was done. He made sure that it was all working, and for the small sites, it would send a small attachment so that he would have the backup stored in his Gmail account as well. But that's it. He logged in, he set it up, did it once, got paid over and over again. And isn't that the dream you've always wanted on the internet? Is just do the work once and get paid repeatedly over and over again. And the machines do all the hard work. I mean, think about it. Like every time someone comes to your website, you don't have to draw up a site and say, here's my text, here's my articles, here's my buy button. No, if someone comes to your site, it displays it on its own. Just like in the same way that when you set this up, you can have a backup on its own also. Barbara just sets it up she's going to set it up on all of her blogs, but as soon as she just sets up a blog or finds a blog that does not have automatic backups, just sets it up, and that way she can be sure that even if she didn't happen to log into her site this month, then she'll get a backup made. We have Adam. I think this is a different Adam than before. He was backing up on cloning sites, but he asked us for automation. So we said, all right, well, we'll come back to you in a couple months. We got back in a couple months and had it all perfected, and now proud to provide automatic backing up of sites. Kevin saves a ton of time. So every 3 days, he would back up. So first of all, he lost a bunch of time and money from a whole server that was hacked. And then he began backing up, but he wasn't all the way there because he'd have to keep logging in every 3 days to back up. He said, can you do auto backups? We said, sure thing. And there we go. Now Backup Creator backs up a site, restores a site, does it automatically, and does all kinds of crazy stuff. Because even if all you wanted to do was either move a site, which means that if you want to move web hosts, so let's say that your website was located at example1.com. Okay, and you still wanted your site to be hosted at example1.com, but you were with one hosting company. Let's say you were with, say, like HostGator or something, and then you wanted to move to like Liquid Web as another goofy name for a web host, but they're another one. If you wanted to have your site go over, you still want your address to be example1.com. You still want people to be able to find your site, same website, same logins, same content, but you want this to be hosted somewhere else. Maybe this one is cheaper, or it's faster, or it's better, or you can have more accounts, but there's just some reason why you want to move to a new host. Well, you back it up over here, you go to the new site, you restore it, boom, 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 it's done. Whether it's your site, whether you get paid by someone else to do it, either way, it just gets done. You don't have to worry about any technical stuff, editing of files, FTP. Just use the plugin and it's done. We've added lots of cool, easy things to it as well. So if you happen to have a backup file on your hard drive, you can upload it. And let me show you what I mean here in just a second. So let me go to my let me find a site really quickly. I think I have one open in one of these browser tabs. Webinar Crusher blog. Okay, this is going to be kind of risky on a live call because this is a big site, but this is a site that we update every now and then, and we've just filled it with lots of articles about webinars. And so if someone searches on the internet, for example, the difference between GoToWebinar and GoToMeeting, okay, here we go. So we're on page 1, just underneath GoToMeeting itself, and just above a very popular site called ehow.com. So if someone's looking for the difference between GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar, well, maybe they'll go to this site. Maybe they'll look at this PDF, or they should just end up on our site, webinarcrusher.com. And what happens here is they get on the site and they sign up to our list. And on some of our pages, we'll have what's called a retweet button to get more traffic to our sites. I know that many people on this call recognize some names of people who set up AdSense blocks, Google ads, they set up Amazon ads, they put affiliate links in the sidebar, but either way, you have all the stuff, you have this whole website, and maybe you want to move web hosts, maybe you want to use this as a starting point for a new site, maybe you want to sell the content on the site, maybe you want to flip the site itself, have someone pay you 10 grand for this so you can show a certain amount of traffic, a certain amount of income, list it on a site like flippa.com, and then list it in an auction. Someone can buy the site, and after they buy it, you say, I'm going to restore this site anywhere you want. Maybe you want to create a site like this with 200 articles, 200 blog posts, and then say, for $100, then I will sell you this exact blog, a copy of it. Not the site itself, you set it up on your own site, but you get all this content. So you get, for example, this exact blog post, but you can set it up on whatever site you want, wallgifford.com, wherever you want to put it. So that's a cool little option for you as well, and let me just show you how to do it. By now, you might realize that the only skill you really need is know how to go to Plugins, Add New, Upload, right? And upload a plugin in WordPress. So Plugins, Add New, Upload. Cool. Now you know how to back up and restore a site. So we're going to find the backup creator zip file here, install now, and give me a second. The plugin's been activated, and I might have to put in my information. So let me just do that off screen. I'll be right back in 2 shakes of a cat's tail. All right, so now it's back, and we've run some backups in the past. I think so. A couple of these are automatic backups from yesterday and today, but some were manual backups. Let me just start with a clean slate. Okay, so what we'll do is we have this site once again. We have this site, Webinar Crusher blog. We have all this content. We want to put it somewhere else. We just back up this site. Okay, boom, it's done. And depending on the settings, you can have this email it to you. You can have it put it onto Amazon S3. And if this runs automatically, which it does, it adds all of these into Amazon S3 as well. Okay, so I can just go and download the backup, and that saving will be done in about 35 seconds. And in the meantime, I'm kind of curious myself. I'm curious about, so check it out. All these automatic backups have been running all month. So once a day, it it puts this back up online, and I can see what year, month, and day it was, so I can go back to one specific one or just the latest one. But even on these automatic backups, it puts them all onto Amazon S3 bucket. So pretty cool stuff right there. All right. So the backup has been complete, and we've downloaded the backup to our hard drive. So here it is, right there, Webinar Crusher blog. Okay, and we're going to put it up somewhere else. So let me just log back into membership newbie, oops, new one. So if you remember this site, remember this, our new little test site? Let's just put it right back here. So we'll go to uh, add backup creator once again. So let me upload, add backup creator, activate plugin, and then I will put in my information. Cool, it's already in there. And so we're going to restore it from our hard drive. Okay, so I click on that, I find Webinar Crusher blog, and then I restore from backup. And if you look at the bottom, it's funny how as soon as I put my mouse on it, it disappears. But on the bottom left corner, it's showing us how quickly it's uploading. And so it should be done, I don't know, in about 30 seconds or so. So we're just uploading this right from our hard drive up to our new site. So if you're in a kind of situation where you don't have access to the original site anymore, or you just want to have a file on your hard drive where you have like a restaurant template, a sales letter template, a blog template, a membership site template, just go to the exact screen here and just upload that backup directly from your hard drive. And it's funny because the longest thing it takes is just uploading. Once it's uploaded, then it'll unpack and get it done in about 4 seconds or so. So what's cool about this is while this is going, you can upload any backup from your hard drive. You can back up to FTP area, back up to Amazon S3, or pull it back down, things like that. And some of our members are using Backup Creator to create a staging area, which we'll get to in a second. But let me just check back in on Webinar Crusher. So just as we flipped over, it finished, it did it, and check out that. It finished everything in about 4 seconds, and fingers crossed, making sure it all works. Cool, it's all here, and looks like all the content's on here, and every now and then there's like a little hiccup, and usually if we just go into the dashboard and resave the settings, it all appears. And of course it's a live call, so one little thing went wrong, but it looks like all the links work, all the content's there, everything is there. All the files have copied over. If we had paying members, those all copied over. If we had extra administrators, everything has copied over. The only thing is, I'm sure once we save the settings, that image will reappear in no problem. So Backup Creator just backed up. We saved the backup to our hard drive and then uploaded it again. With Backup Creator, we can say in our settings that we want to back up automatically. We can back up weekly, daily, hourly. We can make sure that we only keep 5 backups. That way we don't fill up our site. We can send us an email to the backup. We can FTP it up to any location we want. We can put it up to S3, and in this case we can say I want to put this into this bucket, click the button, and now we can choose which of our Amazon S3 buckets we want to put it in, maybe like Webinar Crusher backups, and there we go, it'll save to this folder. And then when we go back to restore, we can go to the backups and we can restore from Amazon S3. And so we can just go to whichever bucket we want, right? And we can have different templates in this bucket. So this is a backup of an article site we had one time. This is a backup of a dentist site we had one time. This is a backup of a membership site we had one time. So if you find some new client to make a website for, if you have an idea for a website, all you have to do is just install Backup Creator, go to the folder wherever it is that you have your backup, whether it's on your hard drive, some link on the internet, an FTP server, or an S3 location. Just go here and pick and choose which one of these sites that you want. So then you click and say, I want to have a dentist site, and then restore from backup, boom, and it's done. Okay, so lots of cool stuff. But now the question comes up, well, what if something goes wrong, right? What if I want to add something new to my site. I want to update plugins, update WordPress. I'm worried that if I do this one thing to my site, I'll break it. Well, that's why some people use what's called a staging area. So James, had glitches, but then he was able to roll back to a previous backup, and so that way he no longer was able to break his site, because if he did, he could just roll back to another backup. This person named Kyle, he just makes sure to run a backup before he changes themes, before he updates WordPress, before he adds new plugins, just in case something goes wrong. He can say, okay, I want to just go back in time to the point before I did anything to my blog. Amin, who's another one of our good friends, was moving this to a different hosting service, and his AdSense stayed, his plugins, he saved 45 minutes, and then he was just able to play around on his local machine and then kind of goof around, figure out whatever he wants, and then once he made the site the way that he wanted it to look, then he could upload it before letting it loose on the unsuspecting public. Because how many times have we messed up an image, or things didn't quite line up, or the whole site turned into a white screen? I know it's happened to me several times, but now you can kind of goof around and try stuff, and then basically have what we call a test site and a live site. And so if you want to just go nuts on your test site, change the theme, change colors, change content, whatever, go nuts on this, and then if you break it, who cares? But if you get it to the point where you're happy with it, where you're fine with showing everyone else, just back it up here and then restore it over there on the live site. Okay, and even David here regularly backs up his site, and he'll just he'll have his, let me just draw this again. He'll have the live site, I'll have the test site, right? And he'll say, the live site's working good, I'm going to back it up and then restore it over here on the test site. Does that make sense? So he's making a copy of the live site, and then he makes his changes, If it breaks, no big deal. But if he gets to the point where he wants, then he backs up the test site again and then goes and restores it on the live site. So there's kind of like a three-step process in there, four-step process, but this works really well for him because he has a site that's always working and always is functioning. But if he wants to make changes, he's very careful, copies it, changes it, copies it right back to where it was. Okay, so lots of cool features with Backup Creator. You can restore from FTP. You can use templates like we've shown you. So this person creates a template with his content, with his themes, with his tweaks, backs it up, restores it. It's all done. Bill uses this for security reasons, and he sets up his site, locks it down with like 6 different plugins, gets all the passwords hard to guess, backs it up, restores it to a new place. And that way, it's already secure as soon as he sets it up. Sean now just uses a couple of minutes. They used to take an hour or more. JP is 80% done with the site in 10 minutes, totally done in 30 minutes or less, just like Domino's Pizza. Fulus builds about 5 to 10 new sites every 2 days, but now it's just a bunch of clicking around. Now he can use his templates as a starting point, and it's all done. Dale uses Backup Creator to manage 13 community sites that are very similar, but the name's different, maybe some of the content's different, but he just created the one site and then cloned it 13 times and got paid for 13 different sites. And if he's lucky, if he's smart, maybe he's even getting paid on the back end 13 times monthly to maintain it, to host it, to run their backups. Pretty cool stuff. Kevin says that he duplicated 50 sites in 2 to 3 hours, and it would have taken 2 to 3 days. So, I mean, what's your time worth, and what would it be worth where before it would have taken most of the week, and now it's done in an afternoon just because you used the right tool for the right job. This person got paid $300 per site just to, I'm not sure if this was to back up or to clone, but I mean, what's the difference? The difference is one way he backs up in one click, the other way he restores in one more click. So $300 times 17 sites, you do the math, talk about making back his investment from a $47 plugin. Even if you sell websites, Vincent here was building a site for a client, and they would just pick the one they want. So maybe he would have like a doctor's site, a dentist site, I don't know, a chiropractor site, I don't know, orthodontist site, but you could have, like some similar templates, but have them ultra customized for whoever you're going after. And if you become known as the kind of person who sets up sites but in this particular niche, then you know the ins and outs, and you can just use a proven template that's guaranteed to bring in customers for them, guaranteed to get customers to come back, and you can become a well-known site setup or site setup person in your field, right? Ken builds a demo sites for clients, and if they say, okay, cool, I want it, what does he do? He backs up the demo site, restores it somewhere else, changes his name, boom, now the site can be sold. Simon uses, like we mentioned, this site Flippa, where he has a site, builds it up, kind of like real estate, right? Buy a piece of land, put a house on it, make it all nice, make money coming in, and then he lists it and then sells it, flips a site. That's why it's called Flippa. But after he sells it, he includes as part of the deal that he will set it up somewhere else, because whenever, like, I'm actually in the process right now of selling a house, and there's just so much uncertainty, right, on the buyer's end. So if someone is worried about, well, if I buy your site for $20,000, will I be able to get to it? Do I have to pay a programmer to move it? Do I have to move it? Do I have to take over your web hosting? And this guy Simon says no. You buy my site, and I will set it up for you. You don't have to worry about how I do it. Just give me the login. I'll set it up. And they don't know that he just backs up with Backup Creator, logs in, restores once again with Backup Creator. Dr. Mike is a chiropractor. This is like the best story ever. I love this guy. This guy is a chiropractor in Australia. And he set up a WordPress site with a mobile version, with like certain pictures, with all the things that a chiropractor site needs to have, right? But if you're a chiropractor in the real world, not on the internet, I guess can't even do chiropractor stuff on the internet, but he has a doctor's office. So if there's a chiropractor 2 towns over, is that person really his competitor? Well, I don't think so. If there's a chiropractor across the continent on the other side of Australia, thousands of miles away, is that a competitor? Well, no. But is that someone he can make money with? Well, of course. Because he says, you're a chiropractor, I'm a chiropractor. I'm not just some programmer. I actually create sites like this all day long. I bring in patients all day long, and I can answer any of your difficult questions. And he says, I make money from this chiropractor site. You're also a chiropractor. Can I sell you my template? So pretty cool stuff. And once again, maybe he has it back and maybe not. I have no idea how much he charges to set up these sites. And in addition, he backs up his site. But pretty interesting, right? He has a proven business model, and he found people who can also benefit but are not competitors because they're in a different space. Just like how Lance and I use this plugin, Backup Creator, to back up and clone our sites, but everyone on this call, including you personally who I'm talking to right now, you can benefit from this, but that does not mean that we are in any way competitors, because maybe you're in a different niche, maybe you set up done for you sites, maybe you provide a backup service, maybe you provide a website moving service, maybe you're in the chiropractor niche, I don't know, but we can all make use of this very powerful and easy to use tool. Lynn's just like Lynn here, she sets up membership sites, Amazon sites, local sites, book promotion sites, all kinds of stuff. And in the past, she only was able to teach it. She'd only be able to make $10, $17 from a PDF document. But now she says, well, for $2,000, $3,000, I'll set up this site for you, this Amazon site, this exact site today. And these people pay $2,000, and they think that she's diligently working and spending all day on it. And she does care about what site they have. She did spend a lot of time setting it up, but her little secret is click a button, now the site is all set up. And I can go on and on with all this. David uses Backup Creator as well for the cloning feature. Roger sets up websites in different languages, and that's his little niche. He sets up WordPress sites, all kinds of different kinds, right? Membership sites, blogs, but in different languages. So I hope that I've kind of got you motivated and maybe your head spinning in a good way of different ways to profit today using this plugin called Backup Creator. First of all, backup and restore your site for safekeeping, because how much is your site worth versus losing it or just clicking a button and now it's safely backed up. You can back up sites for clients if you have the developer version, and luckily the developer version is a one-time payment. So if you went to just one client and got just that one client to pay you on a monthly recurring basis, to keep sites backed up, or you found just one new client a month to back up sites for, or you find one new client a month to clone sites or move sites, I mean, that's more than paid for itself many, many, many times over. You can recover hacked or broken sites. Back up a site now, and then if it ends up getting hacked or broken on its own or because of you, who knows the reason, but either way, it doesn't matter because you can restore the old site. You can automatically back up your sites to Amazon S3, to FTP, and it shoots it over to your email as well. That way you never lose any copy of your site. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather have more copies of my site and not have to use them than be missing something, if that makes sense. So even if on my hard drive I have like 10 different backups of my site, well then I'd be fine with just having those backups sitting up on my hard drive, and then I could get to those if I needed them. If I didn't at some point, I could delete the old ones. You can create a safe place to test changes. If you're worried the latest WordPress update or your latest change to your site will break it, just back it up, make the change, and then if everything's good, well then keep it there. And if something broke, then roll back to the previously restored backup. You can clone one local theme or one membership site into many. There's a site called Dentist in Orem, Utah. And in previous calls and previously we've backed up the site and cloned it somewhere else. All you have to do is log in, click backup, go to a new site, click restore, and then everything has been copied over. The images, the links, this stuff, the address, all you have to do is just change the name, change the address, and then boom, now you have a brand new cloned site. Okay, you can sell and flip websites, and that can mean you sell just the content itself and you keep the site, or you sell the whole site and part of the deal. It's kind of like if you're selling a house and it's like, well, who's going to pay closing costs? And it's silly that you're selling like a six-figure house, but people get hung up on a few $1,000, this thing called closing costs. Well, this is your version of paying the closing costs, right? You say, buy my site and I'll log in and I'll set it up right there for you. It's all done for you. Just pay the money, and now this turnkey website is set up for you. Remember how we said $1,000 is $1,000? So maybe $1,000 could be monthly for you. Maybe you make $1,000 today. Maybe you find one client and you may end up making $1,000 from that person. But it always just comes down to this really powerful and exciting and easy to use tool where you back up a site, a WordPress site, which has anything you want in one place, and then copy it or move it or clone it or migrate it, whatever buzzword you want to use. You're just putting a site from point A and putting it over onto point B. So with Backup Creator Ultimate, you can run unlimited backups on unlimited sites, duplicate to a new WordPress site, copy it from one server to another. Notice how in the beginning we didn't have to save or any of that stuff. We just went from one server to the next. That's built in. Backup to a remote FTP or Amazon S3 site. Restore from FTP or from Amazon S3. Restore using your web browser. Automatic backups, 1 year of updates and new features for a total value today of $876. But of course, you're not going to pay that, right? Because you can easily back up and restore an unlimited number of WordPress blogs. It keeps all your settings, themes, and plugins in place. Oh my. Unlike most backup solutions, you can easily move backups onto other servers. So if you wanted to change domain names, change a folder, any of that stuff, now it can easily move it to a new location, not just backup. We have our one-of-a-kind server-to-server clone it fast transfer, all for $197. This is called Backup Creator Ultimate, and it's the same quick, reliable, compatible backups that you love. You server-to-server, automatic backup, but with also email attachment, run this daily or weekly, FTP and Amazon S3, restore from a browser, $147. But can I give you a huge advantage right now? And that's just to do it in a few seconds instead of days. So this plugin is now over a year in the making, and you can log in and grab the latest and greatest version anytime, 24 hours a day. And it was available for 6 months. Now it's available for 12 months. We're going to give you a really amazing discount right now for joining today. It's just $97 to backup, clone, and protect your site, because we both know that you want this. To never lose a file again, to be able to back up your sites and be able to roll back, knock on wood, anytime in case something happens. We both know you want this. To instantly set up and duplicate a site, move a site, test a site, do anything you want, but now it takes 4 seconds. It takes one click, It doesn't take any technical knowledge or labor. We both know you want this. To be able to get paid $50 to set up WordPress for someone, to set up a blank membership site for $1,000, set up a membership site ready to go for $4,000, and people pay this, but it's up to you to find these people and then use this tool to do it very quickly and very easily for just $67. But I'm still not done, because I honestly want you to jump on this right now. And if you've heard the saying, if you can't decide, then they will decide for you. If you can't decide if you're going to get this, well, then someone else will get this, and someone else will find that client and back up their site. Someone else will have a backed up site, and you won't. So you need this right now, and you get a massive discount today because we're now protecting over 40,000 sites at backupcreator.com. It's not even $197, it's not $147, it's not $97, it's not $67, it's just $57 at backupcreator.com. The link is in the chat box. It's backupcreator.com, backupcreator.com. Go there right now. We'll go together. Let me just open up a new tab. www.backupcreator.com, backupcreator.com. Go there right now, and once this page loads, then you can see that we're now at 42,194 sites. Go to the very bottom, and there are two choices. You can use this on 5 personal sites just to kind of test this out. If you want more than that, if you want to have automatic backups, S3 FTP, upgrade to 47. I highly recommend the 47 because you get a year of updates and support. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can back up any part of your WordPress site that you want. Backup and restore from FTP, email, automatic backup, and unlimited sites for just $47 at backupcreator.com. So please, 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 my name is Robert Plank. Please back up your blog before something happens to it. It's your insurance policy to have a backup, to restore, and then set up that membership, blog, sales letter, or squeeze page somewhere else for just $47 right now at backupcreator.com. I'm going to set a timer. We're going to close this call up in about, whoops, not 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Some people say I kind of close this call abruptly. Well, good, because there's nothing else to do right now than to go to backupcreator.com, claim your copy, claim your plugin for just $47, and now you can back up your site, clone other sites, and do it all on automatic pilot. Have those one-click money sites set up and cloned right now today. My name is Robert Plank. Please go right now to backupcreator.com, and thank you.